Tumekubaliana pia ya kwamba na tumeweka mikataba haswa ya mambo kuhusu kujenga pipeline ya gas kutoka Dar es Salaam mpaka Mombasa, na hiyo itarahisisha bei ya stima katika nchi yetu na itasaidia pia kuhakikisha ya kwamba industry zetu zinaweza kupata pia stima na energy.
Swala la ujenzi wa bomba la kusafirishia gesi kutoka Dar es Salaam hadi Mombasa, huu ni mradi wa muda mrefu. Tunashukuru leo tumeweka kidole na kilichobaki ni utekelezaji, tutakwenda kusimamia.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan is on a 2-day state visit to Kenya and is on Wednesday scheduled to address a joint sitting of Kenya's bicameral parliament. Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan's visit to Kenya is indeed significant and a sign of relief to Kenya, particularly because it will go a long way in enhancing regional integration in trade. Timothy Kipnusu, Channel 1 News, State House, Nairobi.
Well, in other news, the National Assembly has no powers to amend the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020, sponsored by the BBI initiative. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has ruled that Article 257 limits the prerogative of Parliament when considering a bill to amend the Constitution through popular initiative, and its only mandate is to either adopt or reject it in totality, in which case it will still proceed to a referendum.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, has put on break attempts by Parliament to reopen the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020, sponsored through the BBI initiative for debate. In an hour ruling, Muturi made it clear that Parliament has no role in giving any input to a bill seeking to amend the Constitution through the popular initiative, and its role is either to adopt it or reject it in totality.
Speaker, it is the same people who are telling us there is room for amendment are the same people who told us in 2010 Constitution that tupitishe alafu tutarekebisha baadaye. Now they are removing the same lie. And Mr. Speaker, we can't allow that to happen again. Mr. Speaker, we must do the right thing at the right moment so that we don't, we are tired. After every 10 years, we come and amend the Constitution to suit particular interest of politics, Mr. Speaker. And it is unfortunate.
And as we amend this Constitution, Mr. Speaker, we must also address the issues that have confined certain regions to endemic poverty.
Include that as much as we are pushing one man, one shilling, one everything, one what, we don't lose the nation. And that is why in this House, Lamu with its 2 constituencies has 1 vote. Nairobi with its 18 has 1 vote. Unlike in the National Assembly, this is an ideological issue. I am ashamed. My colleagues, senators, can sit here and supervise the massacre of devolution in this House.
It is not tenable. It is illogical to entertain a view that Parliament can amend it during its consideration. And I think for me, it makes a lot of sense that because you are not the promoters.
According to Muturi, challenging parts of the bill for offending the same constitution Kenyan seeks to amend would defy the logic behind the initiative.
The promoters of a bill have convinced more than a million people, voters, to support it. And the bill is headed to the referendum. If you amend it at this point, do you then make it amenable to amendment, take it back to the county assemblies to go and, because you will have changed the text. You will have changed the intentions of the promoters.
Muturi pouring cold water to claims that the bill was not a popular initiative driven by its promoters, but part of the executive, saying any registered voter or even the president is at liberty to drive the popular process pursuant to Article 257, subsection 1 of the Constitution.
There are not very many constitutions that actually give their citizens power to amend their constitutions, but ours is a unique one. And even the comparisons we are having from America and from India, from South Africa, are not similar to ours. Ours is unique. It gives the citizens the right to amend their constitution only if the requirement being get 1 million registered voters.
According to Muturi, errors in the report by the Joint Justice and Legal Affairs Committee can be corrected and do not in any way alter the substance of the bill. Following the Speaker's rulings, the bill currently in the second reading is set to move to the third stage after completion of debate, where members will vote to either reject or approve it. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Away from Parliament, the specialization of Justice Ndumanderi in employment and labor relations matters came back to haunt him during the interview in search of the 7th judge of the Supreme Court. Justice Nderi, however, claimed to have a wide experience in all areas in the judiciary. His counterpart, Dr. Nyaberi Lumumba, who is vying for the same position, would come under scrutiny over his failed attempt to revitalize KCC. Dr. Nyaberi instead saying he did not make it and was kicked out after he stepped on people's toes as he called for an overhaul of judicial reforms.
On the second day of the ongoing search for the 7th judge of the Supreme Court, occasioned by the retirement of Justice Jacky Wambiru, Justice Ndumanderi will appear for the second time before the Judicial Service Commission. Nderi, who boasts of over 30 years of legal practice, majorly based on employment and labor relations, will have his hallmarks come to haunt him, with commissioners questioning if he'll be able to handle other areas.
The background, you need a lot of dusting up or catching up.
I am very familiar with constitutional concepts.
Questioning on regional balance that is applied in most government positions, Nderi will stay away, urging the JC to instead consider integrity, competence and suitability.
Where is our balance in the Supreme Court? Where shall we find it? Shall we find it in regional and ethnic diversity? Or shall we find it in the diversity of minds?
The second candidate, 56-year-old Dr. Nyaberi Lumumba, will be put under tight scrutiny on his scholarly work, where part of his books were published by an NGO, where he's part of the founders.
Disturbing then that an NGO that you are running then publishes your books, where you have the final say.
The NGO which we run has two departments. One department is publication, which is run by somebody else.
His failed attempt to revitalize KCC for about 3 years will also play out.
When I started engineering the organization, we had to close some centers where we felt we were making losses. As we closed those centers, we stepped on people's foot, okay? As you, obviously, if you step on people's foot and they are strong enough, they'll want you out.
Dr. Nyaberi also finds the criticism on the majority judgment of Raila 2017 petition that the court looked at qualitative instead of quantitative to be wrong. Dr. Nderi, however, pointed that the judiciary needs to focus on timely delivery of judgments to curb corruption. On Wednesday, Justice William Ouko, Justice Joseph Sergon and Ali Siano will face the JC panel. For Channel 1 News, I'm Sarafina Robbie.
Matters related to the COVID-19 situation in the country, Kenya has recorded a 5.2% positivity rate following the confirmation of 345 new infections from 6,686 samples tested in the last 24 hours. The country, however, recorded 24 deaths over the same period.
The country's coronavirus curve is on a downward trajectory, with the positivity rate dropping to 5.2%. This is the lowest rate since the third wave of infections was reported in the country. On Tuesday, 345 people tested positive for COVID-19 out of 6,686 samples screened. The new infections placing the total caseload at 160,904. But the number of fatalities is still worrying, with 24 more people succumbing to the virus. This now raises the death toll since the pandemic struck to 2,805. The number of hospital admissions is also on a downward trend, with 1,230 patients admitted in hospitals, with 154 in the intensive care unit. In the last 24 hours, the country has also recorded 140 recoveries from the disease. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Still on COVID-19, the Interfaith Council is encouraging worship in open spaces in a bid to tame the COVID-19 infections in the country. The council has reiterated President Uhuru Kenyatta's call that places of worship do not exceed the 1/3 capacity as in-person prayers resume in the 5 red zone counties that had been put under partial lockdown last month.
The worship in the counties of Nairobi, Kiambu, Nakuru, Kajiado and Machakos resumed on Sunday, a day after President Uhuru Kenyatta lifted the partial lockdown. The general fear among health sector stakeholders is that Kenyans might let their guard down during services. The Interfaith Council now says the in-person services will only last for a period of 2 hours, with the council encouraging worship in open spaces where there is free circulation of air.
The in-person worship can resume in all regions following the 1/3 capacity of the places of worship. This is achieved by strictly adhering to the 1.5 meter social distancing without any extra persons standing or sitting in the corridors.
The council has reiterated President Uhuru Kenyatta's call that places of worship will only be allowed to operate with only 1/3 of a capacity.
That means we will have to organize several sessions to provide for the needs of each congregations where it is called for. D, we must still avoid any common use of water or shared items.
Religious leaders, on the other hand, have been called upon to take a proactive role in ensuring all the Ministry of Health protocols are adhered to, as well as encouraging followers to take the COVID-19 vaccine.
We appeal to the church right now to make sure that even with the opening, we don't get so much excited, failing to keep with all the requirements that have been laid to us by both the Ministry of Interior and, of course, the Ministry of Health, the Department of Health.
We appeal to all religious leaders to reiterate the importance of the preventive measures, especially that of wearing masks at all times in all public places.
The council insists that there shall be no food served in worship gatherings and funerals.
Samburu North Member of Parliament Alois Lento-Image has urged the nation to move with speed in addressing the drought situation ravaging the northern part of the country. Lento-Image says water sources have dried up and residents have been forced to walk several kilometers in search of water as livestock deaths continue to rise.
Hundreds of families in Samburu County are facing starvation as drought continues to ravage the northern part of the country. Samburu North Member of Parliament Alois Lento-Image lamenting over the dire situation that is threatening the lives of hundreds of families with children suffering from malnutrition.
Half of Samburu County now is on alert. Alert is worse. It means short food supply is so low. There's no food. It means now animals are going to die.
Pastoralists are also forced to walk as far as 30 kilometers with their livestock in the desperate search for pasture and water.
There is a serious shortage of water. There is serious shortage of pasture. Livestock body conditions have really deteriorated, and there is a lot of migration because of the lack of water and pasture.
Lento-Image is blaming the obtaining situation on the changing weather patterns and delayed rainfall.
We normally receive above average rain, and it continues from March up to May. Unfortunately, this time we have not gotten any rain. It is so low. We only received rain maybe for only a week or two in a small stretch. It's very thin stretch.
He is challenging the county government of Samburu and other stakeholders to find ways to provide food to the population to avert deaths due to starvation.
County should also start, because some of these things are devolved, county should also start procuring food, grains like maize, beans, and any other food that supplements that are there, so that we can rescue people from death because of hunger.
As part of efforts to find a lasting solution, the legislature is advocating for planting of more grass, construction of dams, and rearing of more resilient breeds of livestock. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Safin Aching Oma.
In other news, detectives in Ruiru, Kiambu County have recovered fake currency worth over 362 million shillings at a rental house along Ruiru, Kiambu Road and arrested 3 suspects. Ruiru DCIO head Justice Zumbati says the fake notes were found stashed in nylon papers inside metal boxes in different denominations of Kenyan shillings and dollars.
It was the end of the road for 44-year-old Pauline Francis, 37-year-old Jekam Omar, and 31-year-old Jacob Kentong, who were nabbed by officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in Ruiru after they were found in possession of fake currency worth 362,500,000 stashed in nylon papers inside metal boxes in different denominations.
We have estimated about 3 billion Kenya shillings in terms of foreign currency, which we suspect are fake. That is US dollars and sterling bonds. And of course, Kenyan currency about 15 million.
The 3 suspects, all Cameroonian nationals, were arrested in this incomplete house during an impromptu search by the police Monday evening.
We managed to arrest 3 foreigners who, according to their passports, they are Cameroonians.
Ruiru DCIO head Cyrus Ombati suspect that this could be part of a well-orchestrated plan by a wider network of fake currency syndicate.
This is like a storeroom. It might be produced somewhere. However, among other things that we recovered, there's a Dora machine, which I've said we need to subject it to the experts such that we know whether it's produced here. The fake currency were being produced here, or they were produced somewhere, and this is a storehouse.
Among other items recovered during the mission are 250 kilograms of fake gold nuggets, 70 suspected fake bars of gold, $1 photocopy machine, liquids, passports, among others. The arrest has left residents in shock as they were clueless over the existence of such an operation in their small village.
Sisi kama wakaji wa huku BTL, kwanza kwa Kenya mzima, hiyo ni kuharibu uchumi ya Kenya. Sasa tunataka hao watu kwanza wachukuliwe hatua na sheria ichukue mkondo yake.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Channel 1 News Hour. Don't go too far, we still have more ahead.
Did you know that the policy document is evidence of the existence of an insurance contract between you and your insurance company? It is important to know the terms and conditions of your insurance policy. Make sure you obtain, read, and understand the terms and conditions of the policy document. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
On the next episode of Ashoka.
A dying person will never lie, and one accomplice of these conspirators, Helena, told me everything while counting her last breath, Father.
The truth is,
that I sowed the seeds of hatred and envy in Justin. It was my wish to see the crown on his head.
I will give birth to this child only when Ashok will be present. You are putting your life along with the child's life in danger. Call Ashok. Just call Ashok. Ashok.
Next on.
I know it's going to be difficult for you because you don't want this baby. But I assure you that Salvador will be glad that he's having a baby with you, and that—
No, that's not it. No, you don't understand. The biggest problem about this whole thing, Nora, is I don't know who the baby's father is, if it's Salvador or Max.
Stop the wake! Waste Dolores' wake here!
Just calm
Stay
down.
out of this. She's my wife, remember? The one who decides where the wake is will be me!
If you don't want all your crimes to be revealed, I'm warning you. Don't you even try to hurt Amaya. Don't you even try. I'm warning you, Mother, or you're the one who'll end up dead.
Now let's proceed. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation journalist Isaac Lemoka and Lourdes Welisala have been fitted in the 2021 Annual Journalism Excellence Awards for the excellent reporting on the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in Kenya. Isaac Lemoka was announced the winner of the COVID-19 reporting category, while Welisala emerged the best in radio production category. Isaac Lemoka packaged and submitted a story on how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the human milk bank at the Pumwani Maternity Hospital and alternative measures taken to provide an exclusive human milk diet for infants during the pandemic. Well, congratulations to our very own Isaac Lemoka and Lourdes Welisala. Now, in other news, a former rugby player, Alex Olaba, is spending yet another night behind bars after the ruling on his bail application was pushed to Monday next week. Olaba was on Monday charged with conspiring to kill a key witness on his gang rape case. Olaba, alongside another former rugby player, Frank Wanyama, are accused of gang rape.
Olaba is charged that on diverse dates between April 14th and April 22nd within Nairobi County, jointly with others not before the court, he conspired to kill the witness. He also faced another charge of conspiring to defeat justice. The prosecution, led by Evelyn Onunga and Angela Fuchaka, had on Monday opposed the suspect being released on bail. They told the court that if Olaba was released on bail, he would interfere with state witness, more so by killing the complainant. The prosecution has in the meantime filed an application in a separate court seeking to have Olaba's 300,000 shilling bail cancelled. A ruling on this application will be on May 10th.
Now, Dadaab Member of Parliament Ahir Duale is calling on the national government to assimilate all refugees born in Kenya before closing the camps. The legislator is warning that closing the camps will have adverse effects on host communities. Details of these and other stories in the county news brief.
Kenya is set to close 2 camps holding over 430,000 refugees by June 2022. One of the 2 refugees camp is the Dadaab camp, which was set up in 1991. A section of lawmakers now want all the refugees born in the camps assimilated.
Let us also look at those who are born here and those who may not have anywhere to go to see how we can integrate them. Because at the end of the day, in the Dadaab camp, out of the 215,000 refugees currently in the Dadaab, 100,000 plus were born in the Dadaab.
Meanwhile, the Embu Teaching and Referral Hospital has embarked on a program that will champion home-based care to reduce congestion at the hospital amid the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. The hospital management says it's putting in place adequate measures that will ensure the safety of all patients referred to the new program.
Hospital-based, we are taking the patients who really need us to manage them effectively within the hospital structure.
And the Kakamega County Department of Health Services has been urged to investigate claims of lack of essential drugs in some hospitals in the county. The county Deputy Governor Philip Kitima is accusing some health workers of taking advantage of the obtaining situation to enrich themselves.
Tumepata saa zingine kwamba mkubwa wa hospitali anashirikiana na chief nursing officer. There must be changes in this hospital. Haya nawahakikishia kwamba kutakuwa na immediate changes.
Finally, conservationists in Isiolo County have rolled out a project aimed at protecting the Beisa oryx, an endangered species of antelope. The conservationists have partnered with communities living along the fringes of the Buffalo Springs and the Shaba Game Reserves to carry out sensitization campaigns on the need to protect the animals.
Wakati tulianza project ya oryx imeanza kupanda kwa sababu 2017 tulikuwa na around 714, alafu 2018 ikashoot ikakuja around 800 and something.
Hii project ndio itakuwa nafanya ile manufaa iko nayo kuandika kulipa mshahara ya askari. Kuna project ya kina mama ya microfinance. Kuna project ya vijana ya kukuza vijana ujuzi ili vijana waweze kujitegemea.
Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
Police in Kakamega are investigating an incident in which an alleged livestock dispute led to the death of 2 people in Lusumo Malava constituency. 39-year-old Joseph Onyango is alleged to have succumbed to injuries inflicted on him by his father and brother for refusing to graze the family livestock. Angry residents are said to have descended on deceased father, 76-year-old Alfred Ambululi, killing him on the spot and torching his houses. Area administration has warned residents against taking matters into their own hands, urging them to use legal systems to pursue justice.
Makosa yangu penye ilikuwa nimetoka nyumbani kwangu nikafika hapa nikakuta papa yangu amekufa, ndugu yangu amekufa, manyumba zimechomwa na zimechomwa na kila kitu. Mama hata hana mahali pa kulala, hana mahali pa kukulia, hana mahali pa kuishi.
Mzozano ilianza na mzee na Onyango. Onyango akatoa matusi kadhaa. Na vile alitoa hiyo matusi, mzee aliona kama ni mbaya na wakaanza ukombi. Sasa huyu kijana waponye naye akaona ya kwamba sasa huyu anaingilia baba yangu, anaanza kuminyana na yeye akatokea nyuma na jembe akampika huko nyuma na Onyango akadhirai akakufa.
Wananchi ambao walikasirika waliweza kumfuata Bwana Ambululi nao pia wakamuua. Kwa saa hii mili miwili ishapelekwa kwa polisi.
And across borders, India has recorded more than 20 million COVID infections despite the government's insistence that cases are slowing down. Now, the Asian country added more than 355,000 cases on Tuesday, down from more than 400 cases daily on 30th April. Now, but testing numbers have dipped as well, sparking fears that India's true caseload is far higher.
Case numbers, however, have been consistently falling in Maharashtra state, which had driven the second wave since early April. India's second wave, fueled by lax safety protocols and massive public festivals and election rallies, has also overwhelmed its hospitals. Delays in testing, diagnosis and treatment, as well as a shortage of critical care beds and crucial drugs, has resulted in a spike in deaths too. Meanwhile, a metro overpass has collapsed in Mexico City as a train was traveling over it, killing at least 23 people, including children, the mayor said. 2 train carriages were seen hanging from the structure above a busy road. At least 65 people were injured and 7 are in a serious condition. This is the deadliest incident in decades in the city's metro system, one of the busiest in the world. Finally, a senior member of staff at the Swiss embassy in Tehran has died after falling from the high-rise building where she lived, Iranian media reports. An emergency services spokesman said that the 51-year-old woman was first secretary at the embassy but did not give her name. Switzerland has represented U.S. diplomatic interests in Iran since Washington and Tehran severed relations shortly after the 1979 Islamic Revolution.
And in the business world, the financial sector lost billions of shillings to online fraud last year as cases of online scams increased sharply. The Kenya Bankers Association says despite the adoption of new systems and increased consumer awareness campaigns, customers continue to lose money to online cons. KBA says it's working with the Communications Authority of Kenya and the Banking Fraud Unit at the Central Bank of Kenya to stem banking fraud.
Communications Authority statistics report for the last quarter of 2020 indicates that the level of cyber threats almost doubled in that period, up from 35.1 million threats reported in the previous quarter to 56.2 million threats. The upsurge was blamed on the increased use of virtual space following the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus.
In response to these challenges, the banking industry has invested in consumer sensitization programs both at the bank level and the industry level. In addition, several training programs targeting staff continue to be rolled out to enhance fraud detection and containment measures.
As part of the mitigation efforts, sensitization programs have been identified by stakeholders in the banking industry as a quick win method.
Pursuant to this, the authority has put in place various initiatives through the National Kenya Computer Incident Response Team and Coordination Center, what is popularly referred to as the KESAT, which is a multi-agency collaborative framework housed by the authority. The KESAT is targeted not only at safeguarding sensitive financial and health data among other data sets, but also at creating awareness among users, including vulnerable groups such as children.
In the COVID-19 period, we continue to appreciate the fact that empowering users of financial services with safety information is the most effective strategy in addressing fraud issues.
Speaking during the 2021 Online Safety Awareness Campaign, dubbed Kaa Chonjo, the Communications Authority of Kenya says it is closely monitoring trends and to stem the rising trends of online fraud in the country.
Coordinated by KBA on behalf of the banking industry, the Kaa Chonjo campaign initiative seeks to empower consumers with information on secure use of banking and payment channels.
The advent of mobile banking in Kenya has made millions of bankers vulnerable to cons or pounce on unsuspecting account holders. Alan Auko, Channel 1 Business.
More than 400 people in the hospitality industry in Mombasa County received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine Tuesday morning. The exercise that targets 3,000 frontline workers in the tourism and hospitality sector is part of a plan by the government to help revive the COVID-19 battered sector.
Tuesday morning at the Makadara grounds in Mombasa, over 400 hoteliers, tour operators, bar and restaurant owners lined up to receive the first jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Well done.
The week-long exercise will be rolled out to 3,000 frontline workers in the tourism and hospitality sector across the coastal town.
We are hoping airlines, SGR, and all other places that actually come in contact, we have people who come in direct contact with staff, will actually be able to take advantage of this particular exercise and get vaccinated.
Stakeholders have welcomed the move, saying it will safeguard the workers who interact with thousands of domestic and international tourists flocking the county.
We want the tourists tourists, when the tourists are able to come back, they'll actually feel confident that they're actually receiving service from service personnel who have actually been vaccinated.
By Saturday, we had already registered over 1,000 staff to our system. The intention is to ensure that it's extended to Kwale County and also Kilifi County within the month of May.
The county government of Mombasa says apart from facilitating the inoculation exercise, it has slashed licensing fees by more than 50% in the last 1 year.
Our urge is then to the entire business community to be able to support this. We got 50% waiver for liquor license in 2020. We also got suspension on the contentious bed levy. And therefore, in place of the bed levy, we have actually in talk with the county government to prioritize legislation on beach management, because beach is also a very significant product and is actually a world function.
Tourism Department Chief Officer Asha Abdi says the county is intensifying marketing campaigns through the Sister City innovative programs to attract most tourists into the county through direct flights.
Particularly Morocco and Egypt. Morocco, we just signed up with them last week. So we are really looking out to having ways where we can attract direct flights coming in. Also looking at ways we can attract markets in the US and other parts of Europe that have not been coming to Mombasa and Kenya in general.
Players in the industry have also been challenged to diversify their products and services to remain afloat.
I think the hotels now have actually not only demonstrated their resilience, but at the same time, the industry at large is looking into ways where they can rebrand themselves, rebrand some of the products and services we've been giving to some of our clients to ensure that visitors coming in now have an array of new products for them to enjoy.
It happened and we were able to get the Ukrainian flights coming in. That was a good move from the county government of Mombasa, that they can actually dedicate more resources to supporting tourism, that they can actually ensure that there's security, there is service provision, garbage is collected regularly, the utilities including water is available, so that we can actually be able to render seamless service when the business actually gets back.
We've not let our guard down in terms of ensuring that there's continuous awareness and enforcement of some of these measures.
By the end of last month, over 4,000 jobs had been lost to the sector, a state of affairs that seems not to demoralize the sector that is currently grappling to the X of the raging pandemic. Juni Karisambele from Mombasa County.
Reforms in the coffee and tea sectors will help struggling farmers improve their earnings and production. This will also help Kenya embolden its coffee and tea brands in the world. Stakeholders in the industry say they have urged the government to accelerate the reforms and dismantle the cartels that have infiltrated the sector.
The latest data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics shows that the quantity of coffee exported plunged 19% to 2,129 metric tons in January 2021 from 2,639 metric tons in 2020. On the other hand, tea prices of farmers attached to Kenya Tea Development Agency managed factories declined from 237 shillings a kilo on average between March and September this year, from a high of 269 shillings in the corresponding period last year. The figures indicating that coffee and tea production continue to struggle.
Naona hata hii bili imetengenezwa ya majani chai, hata hii ya kahawa. Kuna mahali itafika mkulima anagonga ukuta. We want the government to get involved completely when it comes to marketing. If it is connecting farmers with the buyers abroad, that is the responsibility of the government.
To turn their fortunes during the tough economic challenges, farmers have been challenged to take advantage of government funds to sustain their businesses.
Ukiangalia hospitality, mahoteli zimefunga, kila pahali watu wameathirika sana. Kwa hivyo tunahimiza watu yetu wale wamepata nafasi ya kupata hii pesa ya uwezo, kwa sababu haina lipa, haina interest na iko na grace period ya 6 months. Waende wanjalipu kukuza ama kuongezea biashara zao zile zilikuwa zimeanguka.
Stakeholders in the industry have also urged the government to increase funding to the sector so as to reach as many small business owners as possible. Alan Auko, Channel 1 Business.
Stakeholders in the tourism ministry have welcomed the resumption of passenger train services between Nairobi and Mombasa. They say the lifting of the travel restriction will provide the shot in the arm the travel industry needs. The Kenya Railways Corporation suspended train services to and from Mombasa after the government declared Nairobi a disease-infected county.
After a month-long suspension, the standard gauge railway train arrived at the Miritini terminus in Mombasa from Nairobi yesterday afternoon with hundreds of passengers. The SGR services had been suspended following the partial lockdown in Nairobi, Nakuru, Kiambu, Kajiado and Machakos. This was after President Uhuru Kenyatta over the weekend lifted the lockdown measures in the affected counties. Hoteliers and other traders in Mombasa welcomed the resumption of passenger train services, saying this will boost the tourism numbers and will open up the coastal economy.
Kufungwa kwa SGR ilileta madhara kubwa kwa madereva. Sana sana wale wako na family, wale wanaenda kupeleka watoto shule saa hii. So at least vile amefungua, mtu anaweza fanya kazi kidogo apate school fees apeleke watoto shule.
Cessation of movement, how it stopped, this is great for just the whole country and for everybody.
COVID-19 containment measures have adversely affected the hotel industry, forcing many establishments to either shut their operations or reduce their workforce. Hotels recorded huge losses during the month of April following the lockdown of the 5 key counties, which provide significant numbers of domestic tourists. Kenya Railways Corporation announced on Sunday that the schedule of trains remain unchanged, with the inter-county train departing from Mombasa and Nairobi at 8 a.m., the express train departing at 3 p.m. and the night train departing at 10 p.m.
On the next episode of Ashoka.
A dying person will never lie! And one accomplice of these conspirators, Helena, told me everything while counting her last breath, Father!
The truth is that I sowed the seeds of hatred and envy in Justin. It was my wish to see the crown on his head.
I will give birth to this child only when Ashok will be present. You are putting your life along with the child's life in danger. Call Ashok. Just call Ashok. Ashok.
Sasa, hii ng'ombe ni yako. Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Jen, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno nasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuwa namna gani mtu anachukua?
Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe. Na kama haujui kusoma, uijaze na mtu unayemwamini. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia maslahi yako. Na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako.
Oh, sasa wacha nianze hiyo process.
By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa una bima.
Asante sana.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA.
Usitegemee kupata jino lenye afya kwenye mdomo uliooza. Usikubali kupokea zawadi ya nguo kutoka kwa mtu aliyeuchi. Mapenzi ni kufaana, nifae ni kufae. Hisani ni njia mbili, nipe nikupe. Ila ni muhimu kufahamu kuwa sio binadamu wote watakushukuru hata watendeapo mema. Ukitaka thawabu kutoka mbinguni, we tenda wema tu uondoke.
Ili kupata skiza tune ya pumzi ya busara, bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash.
Welcome back. And in the sports arena, Football Kenya Federation FKF has expelled Zoo FC from the Kenyan Premier League and relegated the club to the FKF Division 1 League for the next season. This is following an order from a World Football Governing Body FIFA, which stated that Zoo FC was responsible for activities related to manipulation of football matches and competitions.
In a statement sent to newsrooms, FIFA ordered the expulsion of Zoo FC from the Kenyan's top-tier league after being found responsible for activities related to manipulation of football matches and competitions. The team will now play in the National Super League for next season. Zoo had only won one match in 14 league matches before the league was suspended due to fears of the spread of COVID-19. The top-tier league is set to resume on the 13th of this month after President Uhuru Kenyatta gave the Ministry of Sports the green light to resume sporting activities in the country. Frederick Moki for Channel 1 Sports.
The Kenyan team, which took part in the World Athletics Relays Championship, arrived back home safe today morning from Poland after clinching 2 silver medals as the Curtains came down on the 5th edition of the World Relays in Silesia, Poland. Now, Kenya's men's 4x200 meters quartet of Makotino, Mike Mukamba, Elijah Matthew and Hesbon Ocheng posted season best of 1 minute 24.26 seconds to finish second in the relay race behind winners Germany, who posted 1 minute 22.43 seconds. Now, national wheelchair tennis team arrived safe in Portugal ahead of the BNP World Team Cup Africa qualifiers set to kick off from 9th to 14th of this month. This will be the 10th time Kenya is featuring in the championship, which has won it a record 3 times. Now, the Kenyan team is composed of Jane Ndenge, Asia Sururu, Collins Lumumba, Peter Monove and Rajab Abdallah. Others include Phoebe Masika and Shaban Warioba. Football Kenya Federation has confirmed that the national football team, Harambee Stars, will move to camp on 27th of this month to start preparations for the upcoming 2022 World Cup qualifying matches, where they have been pooled in Group A alongside Uganda, Mali and Rwanda. The team's preparations had suffered uncertainty after the government's ban on sporting activities owing to the coronavirus pandemic, which forced the federation to suspend the FKF Premier League. However, the federation got a reprieve after President Uhuru Kenyatta confirmed on Saturday the suspension on sporting activities had been lifted. In other news, West Ham forward Michael Antonio said they will not give up on the dream of securing UEFA Champions League football after he scored twice in a 2-1 comeback victory over Burnley last night. The Hammers moved up to 5th place in the table, just 3 points behind Chelsea in 4th, with 4 games of the season remaining. Paris Saint-Germain face an anxious way to see if Kylian Mbappe will be fit to face Manchester City in tonight's Champions League semi-final second leg. Now, the striker missed Saturday's win over Lens with a calf injury, but PSG head coach Mauricio Pochettino says his top scorer will be monitored in training before a decision is made on his availability for the tie in Manchester.
Manchester City host Paris Saint-Germain in the return leg of their Champions League semi-final tonight, with Pep Guardiola's team aiming to reach the final of the competition for the first time. Guardiola's side will be looking to continue their remarkable run in the Europe, having won 10 of 11 games in the Champions League this campaign. City also hold the upper hand in Tuesday's second leg, having defeated PSG 2-1 in Paris in the first leg of their tie last Wednesday.
As said, so I know the desire to reach the final, because it's normal, never been for all of us, never been before here. And what you have to do is focus on ourselves and to stick together in the bad moments, with the momentum that they have in the game, stick together and suffer together and try to impose our game as much as possible and go to win the game. And win the game means defend well, attack with patience, in the right moment, score goals. This is going to try to do.
Mauricio Pochettino's side also came into the game in impressive form, with last week's first leg loss their only defeat in their previous 5 matches. The French champions recorded a win in their last outing after defeating Lens 2-1 in Ligue 1. However, PSG face an anxious way to see if Kylian Mbappe will be fit to face Manchester City in Tuesday's Champions League semi-final second leg. The striker missed Saturday's win over Lens with a calf injury, but PSG head coach Mauricio Pochettino said his top scorer will be monitored in training before a decision is made on his availability for the tie in Manchester.
Yes, I think we need to assess Kylian. Today is going to start with individual training sessions and see if he can be with the team on the end. I think it's still one day, and we see it today. Still, we didn't decide if it can be available or not to play tomorrow.
PSG will also be without Idrissa Gueye, who has been suspended, and Joan Bernat nursing an injury.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Thank you for keeping it Channel 1 News Hour. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Anwangeshi. Up next is Yusuf Farah with the weather updates. Have a good night.
Welcome to your Channel 1 weather updates this evening. My name is Yusuf Farah. Now tonight, the counties of Kericho, Nakuru, Eldoret are the coldest, tying at 12 degrees Celsius. Remember to keep warm in those areas. Rainfall is expected in several parts of the country, with strong southeasterly winds of up to 25 knots blowing over the counties of Turkana and areas in the coastal region. Tomorrow morning, areas of the capital city and Nyeri wake up to light rains accompanied by partly cloudy conditions and sunny intervals. Showers accompanied by sunny intervals in areas of Mombasa, Malindi, Kilifi and Lamu. In the northeastern region, chances of rain in the morning accompanied by sunny intervals, especially in areas of Mandera. In areas of Lodwar in the morning, rains accompanied by sunny intervals. The same weather conditions expected in areas of the Lake Turkana Basin. In the afternoon, showers accompanied by thunderstorms in areas of Kisumu, Kitale, Kericho, Eldoret and its environs all the way to Lodwar. Areas of the coastal region, showers accompanied by sunny intervals, rains accompanied by sunny intervals in the central region. The northeastern region continues to experience rains in the afternoon accompanied by sunny intervals in areas bordering Kenya and South Sudan. Rains in the afternoon accompanied by sunny intervals. As far as the temperatures are concerned, highs of 36, lows of 26 in Mandera, highs of 37, lows of 23 in Garissa and the capital city, highs of 25 and lows of 16. That's your local weather focus. The international weather focus is coming up in a bit. Again, many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, do have yourselves a lovely
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087